Good morning, world. This is Ali, and this is the first episode ever of Red Zaatar. Thank you for listening. Let me just get that off my chest because I don't know what the hell I'm doing over here. All I know is I'm excited. I'm happy to be alive, and I wanted to share this excitement with you. Now, what am I excited about? We have the greatest president in the history of our country in office in our lifetime, and the media wants us to hate him. The liberals want us to hate him. Well, guess what? I'm Lebanese originally, Muslim originally, and I love President Trump. And this podcast is an answer to all of those haters out there. It's been quiet on the Arab American front. We have Brigitte Gabriel. We have Walid Faris. We don't have much else. Now, you may be wondering why he is the greatest president in the history of our country. And honestly, where the hell have you been? He symbolizes American success. He symbolizes the greatness that we can reach. A lot of you haters out there want to claim that he was able to do it only because his dad has some money. Okay, fine. He gave him a couple $1 million to start off with. Okay, fine. Where is he at now? Billions. You don't respect the fact that he turned 2 million to multiple billion? Snobs. Secondly, American nationalism doesn't mean exceptionalism. American nationalism doesn't mean supremacy. What it means is the truth. We are the greatest country ever to exist, and we will survive, and we will definitely not be taken over by communist China. And it's all inclusive, people. It's all inclusive. It doesn't mean white only, because nobody thinks like that except for you. You're the only ones that think with identity boxes. We don't think like that. We think as Americans, as one, unified, under God. We admit our faults. We admit where we do wrong. He doesn't judge only Democrats, and he admits when Republicans have done wrong in the past too. A lot of the Arabs around the country and around the world, I'll give them one thing, all right? One of their arguments might stick, and that's the fact that America hasn't always played the good guy in things. And we can admit that, guys. It's all good. One thing about being great is we can admit when we're wrong. 9/11 should not have led us to Iraq. We should not have put in Saddam Hussein. We should not have advocated for the revolt in Iran. We put that Shah in, and then we put the Islamic people in. Right? We should not have done the same thing in Saudi Arabia. We've been we've been building empires and destroying empires for far too long. And that's the establishment politics that Trump was voted in to destroy. So all of you Arabs should have more reason to love this guy. He wants to get out of the Middle East. He wants to get out of Africa. He wants to get out of Latin America and everywhere in the world. We're not the world's police, guys. All we want to do is promote freedom and prosperity without regime change, without any war, without bloodshed and death. And now when he does all he's doing with economic pressures on countries to get them into, to line them up, you call him a warmonger. Or he's evil. You know who was really evil? George Bush. You know who was really evil? Barack Obama. You gave him a Nobel Peace Prize when he was droning kids in Syria. Shame on you. Wake up. And we needed a masculine dude. We needed somebody who's an alpha male. You guys loved Obama just because he talked well. Ooh, he's smooth. That dude could get slapped up left and right. Easily. Try to do the same thing to Trump. I bet you it won't happen. We can definitely go into all of this. We're going to go into all of it. Why I love Trump, why you should love Trump. And what's coming for the future of the country and the future of the world. Because if we listen to that little Greta girl, that Nazi-looking girl, the world's ending in 11 years. So you know what? Let's live life as if that's true. Guys, we have 11 years, and this podcast is going to save you. Listen to me. Are you listening? This podcast is going to save you before the world ends. We're all going to be underwater. It's like 2012 all over again. It's like 1973 all over again. It's like 2001 all over again. These people are stupid. It's December 8th as I'm recording this. And you guys know, if you've been following the news lately, December 9th is going to be a very big day for the country. For the last 3 years, the first administration of President Trump, we've been taken for a ride, folks. We've been pushed around, made to believe things were coming that weren't, media telling us justice would never prevail, that President Trump was a Russian asset, that Mueller was going to take him down, and now we have this BS impeachment trial going on. But you know what I do? I trust the plan, folks. Here's the thing. December 9th is a very big day. IG Horowitz, whether you like him or not, is going to drop an extensive report on FISA abuse that occurred during the 2016 campaign. This FISA abuse will implicate the highest of the echelons of the FBI, implicate some people in the DOJ, and will make sure that the avalanche that we've been waiting on for the last 3 years, intently waiting on, begins to fall on the heads of those evildoers that have been in office for far too long. So that's what caused me to say, all right, I need to make a podcast. I already have these debates in public with my friends, with my, with new people I meet, and sometimes it's wanted and unwanted, It's just me. I can't hold back. When something's going on in the world that interests me, I speak about it. I've never recorded a podcast in my life, so this is a new thing for me. We can call this my test run because that's really what I'm doing here. I'm practicing right now, and there couldn't be a better time for it. I'm 29, born in Kuwait, raised in Lebanon, moved to America when I was 10 years old, moved to Florida specifically, the greatest state in the country. Grew up in a very liberal household. Liberal only because we were told to be liberal. You're an immigrant. You have to be liberal. The liberals, the Democrats, are the only ones that are caring about the struggles of the minorities, right? And there was that quote that I always think about when I tell this story, which is they're attributing it to Winston Churchill, but I'm not sure if it's actually his or not. If you're a teenager or a young adult and you're not a liberal, you have no heart. But if you're an adult and you're not a conservative, then you have no brain. The emotional arguments that have been played consistently for the last 100 years, almost, against minorities, people of color, the identity politics that have been filling our airways for so long. Without that, the Democrats wouldn't have survived. The Democrats have no policy. All they have is virtue signaling. So to me, as a 15-year-old kid, as a 10-year-old kid, as an 18-year-old kid, it stayed with me till I was 25. I'm sorry. I have to apologize for my sins. But hearing these arguments, especially after 9/11, as an Arab American, and this is me using their identity box that they've created, Arab American. I'm an American, period. The entire young adulthood of mine was filled with fear of the other. Instead of me fearing God and only God, I was fearing man and whoever was different than me because I thought that they were after me. And I'm sure every single one of you out there, whether you're Lebanese, Egyptian, Saudi, Iranian, whatever you want, you go through the same identity crisis growing up. It's forced on us. It's in the movies. Just like black people have slave movies now, and that's all they show of their history, which is a shame because African Americans have so much influence and stake in the creation of this country. It's more than 12 years a slave, but Hollywood doesn't want you to know that. We have a lot to be proud of, and it all comes down to the fact that as Middle Easterners, we are entrepreneurs by blood. We work hard. We have a hard work ethic. We don't play games. But you know what? We've been played. We've been played for far too long, and we're sick of it. And I feel like we're starting to wake up. And it's not just us, guys. You see the protests going on around the world. This isn't another Arab Spring. What's happening in Bolivia isn't just another protest. What's happening in Germany and France and the UK aren't another protest. They are popular revolutions for the betterment of humanity. And I hope that throughout the course of this podcast and all the episodes that will come soon, that we can break down these topics, that I can have debates with you, especially if you don't agree with me. If you don't agree with me, even better, because there's plenty of folks that agree with me. We're the silent majority. I'm here to red pill every Arab in this country and around the Western world because it's time, guys. It's time. We don't have these socialist governments on our heads like we do in our home countries. We can't say these things in Lebanon. We can't say these things in Iran, the things that I will be talking about on this podcast. But you know what? I can in America, the greatest country on the face of the planet, and I will. We fear no man. I don't even fear evil. I will choke the devil down. You understand? Stomp on him. It comes down to a few basic principles, guys. You got two states: sleep and wakefulness, right? For the last 20 years, we felt like we've been asleep while awake, walking dead, basically. The world is coming to an end, and no matter what we did, the only way to fix it was by taxation, was by finding another vulnerable group to call a victim and to pile on them. And what has that done for people? What has that done for people? The last 20 years have been Muslim victimhood. The last 100 years before that, if not longer, of course, 200 years, is Black American victimhood. We also had a bit of that Latin American victimhood. If you were from Guatemala, you were an illegal no matter what, blah, blah, blah. The idea is, guys, a few bad apples, according to the Democrats, should exemplify the entire batch. If you're a Guatemalan and you have some people that hate the fact that people are coming here illegally because they're breaking laws and they're not getting in trouble for it while we jaywalk and go to jail for it, that means that we're calling all Guatemalans, all Hondurans, all Salvadorians illegal. I mean, you guys are grown, right? You guys can hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. Does that sound like I'm calling every Guatemalan or a Honduran or El Salvadorian or an illegal when I say that? No, the Democrats want you to believe that when we point out a wrong, we're pointing out an entire group of people, an entire country. When we speak on facts, they want you to feel like these facts are so detrimental to our foreign relations that they're racist. Not almost, they're racist, guys. I'm a white supremacist according to these fools. I'm a white supremacist. Have you seen me? This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And it's time we all fight back. We got Candace Owens representing. We've got Brandon Tatum representing. Brad Parscale, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's taking the fight to them. It's an unfair playing field, guys, I'll be honest. We're on Twitter. Luckily for me, I'm too small of a Twitter personality to really be shadow banned, but I'm seeing what's happening, whether it's Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, the list goes on and on. Censoring our voice because we speak truth to power. It's such an interesting dynamic that we have going on in this world, where right is wrong and wrong is right. And if you're on the side of wrong is right, you would do anything to prove your point, including violence, including advocating assassinations, including advocating post-birth murder of babies. There are no limits to these people. But one thing they forgot about is the potential for the people to band together and to defend truth, dignity, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness with all we've got. And so far, it's words. So far, it's videos. So far, it's tweets. And we like it like this. But don't push us too far, guys. Don't do that. The world's in a place where liberalism is literally a cancer on societies. Western civilization needs to survive for the survival of humanity. If it doesn't, what will survive in its place? You tell me. Chinese communism? Sharia laws, backward thinking? We don't want that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. You can keep your socialism. You moved out of those areas for a reason. And all the Lebanese Americans, I'm speaking directly to you right now. You go to vacation once a year in Lebanon for a couple of months and claim, oh my God, I love my mother country, right? What's going on in your homeland right now? All the problems that you've been ignoring and claiming you have people fighting for the right of Lebanon to exist are sucking your country dry and allowing foreign influence like Iran to make Lebanon a proxy country to Iran. You're enjoying your beach vacation. You're enjoying your nightclubs. You're going out and partying and dancing like an ignorant buffoon. Shame on you guys. Wake up. Luckily, whether you're awake or not, things are moving and things are happening that are for the betterment of the entire world. Freedom will prevail, and you guys are along for the ride. And I hope that at least I can show you that you're not alone. There are plenty of what I'm starting to call red sheep out there. There's always black sheep in every family, right? And I guess I was always a black sheep. The red sheep that I'm talking about are those Republican Arabs in families of liberals. I know, you know what? It's very similar. You know how when you have a Republican and a black family, they're called names, and, you know, they Coon and an Uncle Tom and a sellout, right? Arab American families, whether they're Muslim or Christian or whatever, there's an added element of disgrace that a Republican would feel. It's not just political selling out. It's not just identity sellout. No, we're selling out our religion, right? I'll talk about Muslim families specifically because Islam is not just a religion, it's a political ideology as well. So if you sell out, quote unquote, your mother country, Lebanon, etc., you are selling out your religion. Guys, oof, doesn't that feel really bad? But I'm not alone. I know for a fact I'm not alone out there. And I know for a fact that when people hear this podcast, especially if they're Arab American that are on the conservative side, pro-life, pro-guns, pro-First Amendment, the entire Constitution, people, I like it. I love it. I love it so much that when they hear this podcast, they'll gravitate to it. And honestly, if I can't have friends that disagree with me, because a lot of them have backed away, I'd rather have friends that are like-minded, that we can have a community of thought on how we can reform the Middle East to prosperity and to stay away from socialist tendencies, stay away from government programs that have ripped Lebanon dry. It's so interesting to me. I keep watching these people protesting in Lebanon, claiming they're all about freedom, while they're supporting people over here in America on their Twitters and IGs, like Elizabeth Warren and AOC. You fools, do you know who the hell you're supporting? Do you know when you support AOC, she's going for the same policies that bled your country dry? You dummies. Beta, as Jesse Lee Peterson would say. But that's what we got to do. We got to come together, form some kind of youth coalition. I don't know what the hell it is, but you know what? I'm just walking in the footsteps already laid for me. That's all I'm doing. And I had a calling to start a podcast. It just fit like a puzzle. Without me trying to do anything, you know when they tell you don't try too hard, things will happen on their own? That's what's going on here. This episode is going to be a short one because I'm still trying to kind of grasp the structure of it all. Do I need notes? Do I not? But I wanted to congratulate each and every one of you patriots out there listening because we've been patient. And this episode should mark a day where the revolution truly begins in the public square. The IG report drops tomorrow, or actually today, because that's when this episode is dropping. Monday, December 9th. And you can expect next week's episode to be all about it. So guys, thank you for listening. We're looking at almost 20 minutes. Thank you for listening and giving me a chance. And I know it'll get better from here. Better, stronger, longer, faster. All that good stuff. I hope you all have a blessed week. And join me next time on Red Zaatar. This has been Ali. And it's been my pleasure.